All right, welcome inside to another edition of SJHL Weekly here in the IKS Media Studios, of course, presented by UPL, our presenting sponsor of all of our broadcasts. My name's Clark Munroe, your host today, and we're going to recap today a 6-game weekend. There was 3 rematches, back-to-back series over the weekend, so we'll check in with those and see what happened there. We'll talk about the players of the week. We're going to be joined by Battlefords North Stars defenseman and recent Western All-Star Challenge participant, Linken. And we're going to be joined as well by Director of Movember Canada, Todd Minerson. There's a big show coming up, of course. We're also going to play a little bit of Buy It or Sell It, which is always a good time. Let's thank our sponsors to kick things off, though. Canterra Seeds, Capital Auto Mall, Canalta Hotels, SGEU, Sask Lotteries, UPL, Chevrolet, Great Western, SaskTel, RBC, Saskatchewan Construction Safety Association, and Vatterstad. And if you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter, please hit like, share, and send in some comments because we will be hopefully showing your comments throughout the show. We were laughing. We had some interesting comments from last week that we were laughing about just as we were looking back to last week's show. So make sure you send them in. We'll definitely read them throughout the show. And if you have something you want to talk about or ask us about, let us know and we'll get it up there. But joining me to my left, he was out of studio last week. He was covering the Western All-Star Showcase Western All-Star Challenge last week. Jamie Neugebauer. Jamie, thank you for joining me today. Of course, not a crazy busy weekend, but still a lot of storylines coming out of it, I would say.
Yeah, recovering from the Western All-Star Challenge still, I suppose.
Yep.
And yeah, big time thanks again to the Ormond Wolverines, to Brianna, and everybody there who allowed us and me to film my part of it from the store there at the rink, so that was cool. And yeah, and I got to yell at Vinny, Palmerine, and Bex and Fox at practice right afterwards, because the practice was meters from where I was sitting.
Meters. We're in Canada, folks. And if you can see on our faces, Jamie's is very much better than mine. But it is Movember. We have our Movember campaign going. Jamie, what was the number you told me earlier that we're up to in terms of the league?
Over $6,000.
Over 6,000, and we're 10 days in. Last year, our number was 21,000 plus, so we want to make sure we try to get back there again. So hit Movember, I think it's ca.movember.com. You can search this. You have to type in the whole words here. Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League, or each team or SJHL staff. I'm sure we'll all pop up at some point. Make sure you search that up and send in a donation if you can. That number is going to keep rising as the teams get more and more involved as we go. But as you can see, I just basically have stubble all over. I told Commissioner Kyle, he said, let's go clean shaven, please, as a staff. And I said, Kyle, I'm not going to be visible for Movember until like the last week of November, if that's how we're going to do it. And he's like, that's the rules. Well, so that's what we're doing. Jamie takes like 4 days, so his is looking sharp. You're looking sharp, Jamie.
Working on it.
Jacob Faith, who's not here today, but he cheated. He started early, which I should have done. But he's looking good. Kyle's looking good. So we're going pretty good for the SJHL staff. Kelly Lewick, who he also, technically he cheats, but he just goes all out with the big old mustache. He's not here today either. So we got some graphics guys filling in upstairs. Director Bryce?
Yeah, I cheated too, man. I haven't seen the upper lip for like 10 years, and I'm not going to start now.
No.
So
and you know what, Bryce? Frankly, I wouldn't want to see it.
Honestly,
I like you with the beard.
Honestly, the show came up in Ormond last week, and I said, who's that guy with Clark?
Yeah.
Have I been replaced? I was very confused.
Yeah, so anyways, Movember is underway. Please help us by donating now. We'll talk about that a little bit more later on with Todd Minerson, who's the director of Movember Canada as a whole. We chatted with him last year on SJHL Insider, which is our Thursday show, and it was a great time, so really looking forward to that chat. He'll be in segment 2. But let's get going here, Jamie. We have 6 games to recap over the weekend, so why don't we look at the scores now for the Sask Lottery look back and the Elkridge scorecards. As you can see, Kindersley had a fun time on Friday night, a 9-4 win at Warman. So a big start of a big weekend for them. The Melville Mainers and Weyburn Red Wings, whoa, that was a fun one. 2-1 win in overtime for Melville with a beautiful goal by Boston Harkness. We'll get into that a little bit. Battlefords with a 4-1 win over Yorkton. And then all 6 of these teams played each other again on Saturday night. They just flipped venues, except for Yorkton and Battlefords.
Can I just say,
yes,
for the Warman game, the Friday game, Warman took 50 50 shots.
Yeah, 50 shots and
It
lost 9-4.
It wasn't the team that scored the 9 goals that took the 50 shots.
Yeah,
it was
wild,
the
right?
other team.
Wild.
Sorry for interrupting.
No, that's okay. That was a noteworthy interruption. And then on Saturday, a 2 o'clock afternoon game, Yorkton and Battlefords. Yorkton got their revenge, got the win there for a weekend split. Weyburn got the win on Saturday for their weekend split with Melville, and then Kindersley swept the weekend over Warman with a 6-3 win. So 15 goals for Kindersley in 2 nights, Snoogsy. So they're feeling pretty good. Why don't we have a look at the headlines now, because that will kind of segue right in to our first topic in the headlines. So it's going to be the Clip Show, and that's 15 goals in 2 games, Noogsy, for the Kindersley Clippers over Warman. Now, I said before the weekend on SJHL Insider they had a chance to tie the Humboldt Broncos for first place in the league if they could pull off 2 wins, and they did in convincing fashion. So what went so right for Kindersley over the last 2 games?
Yeah, they put pucks in the net and fast and furious. It was just a game of runs. The first period, especially there in Warman, was as wild the first period as I've seen. And, you know, neither team was really stopping pucks. Either Tay Timmerman straight from the Western All-Star Challenge or Matthias Radke at the other end. Just pucks were flying in both ways. But, you know, every time, even, you know, you think back to Notre Dame days last couple of years, whenever Notre Dame and Kindersley get together, it's going to be wild, wacky, and bananas. And it was again over the weekend. You know, this Clippers team has firepower. I think a lot more credit is due to Kindersley than any sort of concern on the part of Warman. Maybe with the exception that Warman's dealing with some very important injuries to some very important players.
Sure. Yep.
And on a team that's already young, losing, you know, Dylan Hebert and Hudson Kerr, maybe for a while. You know, obviously they just added Kenyon Ungert. He's already hurt. So you go down the list. They did add Corbin Ellman. He looks really good. But anyways, the point is Kindersley looks great. And I think the Kindersley community, if they're not already behind this team, they should right now, because they were full value for the 15 goals. This wasn't about Warman being the last place team. To me, this was about Kindersley being lethal. Their power plays around 30% right now. You know, they have weapons all over the place. I know, you know, Avery Johnson and Rylan Wheeler.
Yeah, wow.
You know, filled
Big
the
weekend
skeet,
for them.
But it was a lot of guys.
Yeah.
A lot of guys. And you know what? They didn't stop all game, every game for both games. You know, those little details were the things that I was really looking at. You know, you look at a young team like the Warman Wolverines. I mean, Kindersley's got like 11 07s as well, so it's not like they're full of 20-year-olds. But it's just the details. It's those little habits. Is if you turn the puck over at the offensive blue line, are you working really hard like a mature hockey player to get back the other way? And that's something that Kindersley's doing, and that's what they've been doing. And you know, I honestly think, Clark, and you can tell me what you think. But right now, if I was going to pick a coach of the year, obviously Cody Mapes deserves a lot of consideration. But Kyle Schneider, man, the job he's doing with these kids to buy in, to play this way, very impressive.
Schneiderman. Just the way you said that.
What do you think about
Spider-Man? I think you're bang on. I think he's definitely right in the top 3 conversation right now, and there's no doubt about it. I mean, Kindersley's. I think the one thing you mentioned that I just like to build on a little bit there is, yes, Kindersley has a lot of 07s. A bunch of those 07s have some good experience.
Yeah.
There's a couple of guys there that have been
the
around.
Perlingers have
been around the block a
Jackson.
little bit. Jackson Herchak, the Perlingers. So it really pays off. For Kindersley's, the way Kindersley's strategy has been for the last couple of years is, let's be young and have a couple of really experienced, solid vets. That youth now has grown into vets, and then when your youth are vets and your vets are vets, you got a lot of vets, and then all of a sudden your team structure is solid. Everything is very solid. And they had that. They had Brett O'Halloran coming back. They had that really good defensive group coming back, and they had a really deep forward core coming back. So I think I anticipated Kindersley to be near the top of the league this year, tied for first at this point. I'm not sure if I had him quite that high, but pretty close. And I think, like you said, the way Kyle Schneider has come in after Clayton Jardines did such a good job for however long he was there for, a few years there, Kyle Schneider has come in and really, really set the tone. And I think it's really undeniable so far that his impact has really solidified a group coming in that was already pretty solid. But it's taken that step that I was kind of hoping they would take.
He had a great roster. Kyle Schneider came in, had a great roster to start with, and that's what you want. You need talent, you need experience to win, especially in this league.
Yeah.
And he had that. There's no question about it. The question was, whether a 26-year-old who's never been the head coach of really anything, could get that buy-in from a team that has a core that was together for a long time.
Sure.
And then you sprinkle in, like Van Egger, you sprinkle in, Austin Oshovi back.
Yeah, that was such a big one.
Bring in a goalie like Matthias Radke, etc. It's just sprinkles because they had the core together.
Yeah.
Just sprinkles of guys that you believe in their character, you believe that they're going to buy in. And look, Warman, there are deficiencies for sure. So, let's not get carried away either saying Kindersley's going to win the championship because of this, per se. They could, but I'm just saying it's not a lock because they just scored 15 goals in 2 games.
Yeah.
But
at the same time,
it's a good sign because they were finding ways not to win games like this
and
last couple months.
Absolutely. And even looking back to last year, remember they had that really long stretch where we knew that was coming up where they were going to be on the road for super long. And we're like, okay, while they're at home, they got to stock up some wins. And they couldn't find ways to get those wins. And then they went on that big long road trip, right? That was last year. Yeah. This year, it seems like they're just taking care of business. And even if they lose, it seems to be like they're pushing it to overtime.
Yeah,
and they're getting those extra point here, the extra point there, which is why they're tied for first place right now. So it's a big step forward for Kindersley. And shout out to everybody on the coaching staff involved in that aspect of it. Let's bring back the headlines now. We'll move on to our second topic of the day. And because we only had 3 matchups this weekend, basically the top 3 are just going to be those 3 matchups. And the blossoming rivalry that we're talking about is Melville versus Weyburn. They had a great weekend against each other, a really exciting game on Friday. Weyburn also just comes out of, they haven't been super active on the ice. It seems like they had such a long time off. They had those weekend games against Estevan, and then they kind of just have slowly been getting back into it. So it seemed like on Friday, maybe they just didn't have everything together, Nugsy, but then on Saturday, it seemed like they turned it up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think we talked in this Friday night spotlight there with Doug Johnson. He doesn't feel like, and his kids never feel like that they're underdogs in any game. Rylan Oatman, keeps up producing, in big games against good teams. The last couple of games, look at the goals he scored against Flin Flon. He scored, against Weyburn. He scored against Estevan. He scored against Humboldt. Like those are the teams that Rylan Oatman, big team game. I said to Doug earlier this year, like that is a kid that is genuinely super high skilled. And Doug said to me, hey, he could be one of the most skilled forwards in the league, maybe the most skilled forward in the league, Rylan Oatman. How often do we talk about it? So that's the thing about him trying to find consistency, and I think that's the story for Melville just in general. When they play their game, when they buy into what Doug's preaching, this Melville Millionaires team can and will beat anybody and do it well. Now, of course, we know and we understand what the Weyburn Red Wings are all about, and for them, they didn't play badly at all. The game on Friday night, it was bananas. It really could have gone either way. It was as fun a game. Maybe it was the most fun game I've watched in the SJHL so far this year. Went both ways, especially overtime, and then Boston Harkness wins it in overtime. This one was a little bit more kind of your run-of-the-mill. Weyburn comes out, storms the barn, plays with a pace and an intensity that, they learned a lot in the finals last year. But, it's a situation, too, where Weyburn maybe a little bit more depth. But an interesting situation in net for Weyburn, which we'll get to later for Nugs and Notes. So we'll save that, Clark.
Yeah,
but this Weyburn team, we've talked about them a lot. We've given them praise. We've given Cody a lot of praise, and deservedly so. But, for them to find a way to go into Melville the next night and put up a performance where they have a great third period and win, 5-2 comfortably-ish in the end, good for them.
I think it's also just really hard for them to play the small amount of games that they had in those couple of weeks, those 3-week span, and then to come into a division game like Friday night against the Melville team that, they're playing, I think they're playing pretty good hockey. And I think, like I said, I think Friday they just they weren't quite all there. And then Saturday they're like, here we go. Yeah. They turned it up. And I feel like Weyburn is now, once they get back into this groove, I feel like they were on a groove before they took that little time off. They're going to get back into that groove, and the Bungie division just continues to be wild. It's going to be great. And speaking of that, we're going to be going to a game, you and I, tomorrow night, so that's exciting, in Melville against Estevan. So that should be a fun game for the Remembrance Day game there tomorrow, so that'll be good. Let's bring back the headlines. I think, Nugsy, unless you have anything more to add, but let's bring up the headlines for number 3, and that is doing the splits, and we're going to go into the Yorkton Battlefords series. They split the series. Each team got a win. And it was both games were in Battlefords, Nugsy. It was a 2 o'clock afternoon game on the Saturday. They had a fundraiser that night in Battlefords. And you know what? It was a good weekend. I think both teams took away some positives. Probably both teams had some things they would take back if they could. But a 4-1 game on Friday night for Battlefords over Yorkton, and then a 3-2 game, really tight one, with Gabriel Corshane getting the 3-1 goal, and then Finley Klippenstein actually making it real close late, so making it real interesting. But what were your takeaways from this series over the weekend?
Well, I think about these two teams, and I think about the two teams that really play their top line the most, probably, in terms of the matchup. Obviously, you got the Corshane, Leonard line for Yorkton. You got the Campbell, Kinetic, Nardelli line for Battlefords. Not to say that the guys elsewhere, especially Adam Konowalchuk for Battlefords, keeps producing, but those two lines really are the straws that stir the drink. Pardon me. For those two teams. Both teams have great power plays. It's interesting. Obviously, Marty Smith last year with Battlefords. He can really coach a power play. Obviously, he scored lots of goals himself on the power play for Battlefords years ago. And the Stars have had a great power play as a team for years. And then again, Yorkton with their power play that's 25%, I think, second in the league right now, maybe only behind Kindersley. So you look at this Yorkton team; they might live and die a little bit by the power play. And think about the personnel that they have. Obviously, Jai Zawatsky, William Leonard is one of the best power play producing forwards in this league. If you can be disciplined against the Yorkton Terriers, you have a much better chance. I know that sounds like an obvious thing to say, but that's the way it does help. They're a team that does count on their power play quite a bit. But for them to go in and get a split against this Battlefords team, and these two teams are really around each other in the standings. So the last thing I'll say is, for Yorkton to go on the road in 2 games in this situation and at least come out with a split, probably a win for Yorkton.
Yeah, and I mean, they were also up north earlier this week too, right?
Yeah,
Yorkton.
busiest week. Yeah.
I would say a split is probably just what the doctor ordered for the ending of that kind of a road trip. And like you said, they're right next to each other in the standings. Yorkton's in 6th right now. They've played 3 more games than Battlefords overall, with 21 points, but Battlefords right behind them with 18 in that 8th spot. So, it's pretty tight, and it's going to be fun. But those two teams, I would say, pretty similar overall, I would say, teams in terms of just kind of what they're doing right now.
Yeah, and how about Tommy Reese, too? We talked about Tommy Reese. Played practices to show at the challenge, 2 games at the challenge, gets in the bus, goes and plays in Larange, then he goes and plays these 2 games.
Yeah, wild stuff.
I guess you can't get enough hockey, Tommy.
No. All right, well, that'll do it for the team portion of the headlines. But let's bring the headlines back up one more time, because me and Nugsy right now are going to jump into a little game of Buy It or Sell It. We usually save Buy It or Sell It for the end of the show, but just with the way things are structured today with 2 guests, we figured let's get it out. Let's have some fun in the opening segment. I didn't write down the topics, Nugsy, because I had a bit of a scrambled morning. So if you wouldn't mind, if you have those still available,
I will open
let's go into those now. So as he pulls those up,
okay, I got them.
Buy It or Sell It is kind of like an over/under, or he's going to throw a topic out and I'll say I don't buy it or I do buy it. Do we still have graphics for Buy It or Sell It, or was that overruled and sustained? That was objection.
We'll figure it out. It's okay. I think people at home are smart enough to figure it out.
We have similar games. They have different titles, but anyways, that's the objection. That was the one that we did a little bit of last year.
If you say sell it, maybe they can play the objection.
Sell it, I object. It's kind of the same idea.
All right. The first one is the Notre Dame Junior Hounds last year.
Right.
Won 12 games all year. Warman has won 4 already.
Yeah.
Buy it or sell it, Warman will win more than 4 this year.
More than
12, more than 12 this year. Sorry, more than 12.
No, I think they will. I feel like the Warman team this year, you've said it a bunch of times, I feel like they have a lot of pieces that are the right pieces.
Yeah.
And it just hasn't quite come into place yet. Obviously, they have an under 300 winning percentage right now, but some guys have been out. And once I think the younger guys find their groove, and some of those older guys, like Vinny Palmerine missed some games. Hudson Kerr's missing some games right now. And like you said, Dylan Hebert's missing some games. Tay Timmerman's just still finding his groove with the team. He had a really great showing at the challenge. He's still finding his groove with the team. Griffin Wright's shown some really nice stuff too. So I feel like they have a lot of pieces, and I don't mean to drag last year's Notre Dame team through the mud or anything, but I feel like last year's Notre Dame team didn't quite have, I mean, I guess it's some of the same players, but there's some pieces this year, like a Kane Kennedy, for example, that I just feel like have really added to it. So I feel like, I think they'll get I'd say 13 at least minimum.
Yeah.
They'll get more than 12 is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I would say I would also buy that they're going to win more.
I'll buy it.
I would say that last year's team had Marko Djordjevic, Liam Hunks.
Yes.
Two of the best players
you're right.
in the league. Like, not the best players in the league, but two of the top players in the league, I would say.
Yeah.
Whereas maybe this team is a little bit more deep throughout.
Balanced, yeah.
I would like to see some growth and maturity in a lot of areas from some of these guys, but that's what happens. Brett Pilkington's always saying, we got to have a young team. We're going to develop. We got a young team. We got to develop.
Yeah.
And some of that immaturity will come, hopefully, for them. So, but yeah, I agree. I think they'll win more than 12. And really
and
go
no
for that
offense to
community.
Spencer Borsos, but
Wow.
he played
He was unbelievable.
0.8% of all of the minutes last year. And it's nice to have two goalies.
Until his injury finally was and too much.
It's nice to have two goalies to kind of go back and forth.
We both, but it's true. It's true. All right. Estevan is a home ice advantage team this year. That means that they are top 3. Let's look at the standings here just
top 4,
really
right?
quick. Top 4, pardon me.
Yeah.
They are in 7th right now, but it's very close. Is Estevan a top 4 team?
I really think that with how aggressive Drew Kosher has been and
already
will continue to be, I don't think he's done. I'm going to say buy it. I'm going to buy it not just a little bit. I'm going to heavily buy this one, that they are a top 4 team by the end of the year. And that's saying a lot because Humboldt, Kindersley, Weyburn, Nipawin right now, and Flin Flon, I guess, are the top 4 or 5 teams. Those are tough teams to knock off.
Yes.
But I still think Estevan, how aggressive they've been, the way that their roster plays, and some of the pieces that they have and that they just acquired, and that they might still get.
Yeah.
I think they're 100% going to be a top 4.
You're going to buy it.
Maybe a bold take, but I think they're in.
I'm going to sell it, and just barely.
Yeah.
Just barely.
Some
and
good
not,
teams in
and
that
not because they're not good, but
mix.
there's some teams with, think about Humboldt and Kindersley and Weyburn especially, that have all these guys that have played together a lot. Estevan is still trying to learn to win. Nipawin is, again, similar situation. Lots of guys that have played together but haven't learned to win.
Yeah,
Estevan is is a new team trying to learn to win.
Yeah.
So to me, it's either between Estevan and Nipawin for maybe that last home ice spot. But I'm going to sell it just barely say they're like a 5-6.
The way I think of it, I'm going to directly compare Estevan to Nipawin. I had a ton of high hopes, you know this, about Nipawin coming into the year, and I still do. And I still think they're going to be a top 5 or 6 team for sure. But the way I look at their 20-year-old forwards, I'm thinking Hoynes and Radloff. The way I look at you and Rennie and Rylan Williams right now is just a little step ahead. So the way I can see that dynamic duo over on Estevan's side compared to those guys in Nipawin, even though I think Nipawin's forward group is more it's deeper and more balanced. I think the top 2 dynamic duo is what's going to push Estevan into that home ice group.
You sure about that?
I don't know. Maybe I'm not sure about that.
We can't be sure because we're not
Christ.
prophets.
No, I'm buying it though. I'm buying it.
Well, fair enough. And I'm selling it just a little bit. Where's my objection stamp? All right. Fair enough. All right. We'll try to go through the last 3 a little bit quicker, maybe.
That's okay.
Kyle Schneider is the early front runner for Coach of the Year.
Right. We mentioned that. We talked about that a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and buy it right now because the other 2 I think that are probably in contention right now. I think Braden Klamosko's in contention. How much does Braden's historical greatness, he'd probably scoff if I said that to him, but you know what I mean? Like he's won the award. He's won the award a few times.
Just the truth.
How much does that plus Humboldt's success last year play into, well, maybe we expected them to be this good? Kindersley, we've talked about them lots of times where they've taken a huge step this year, and I think that plays a lot into it, plus Kyle's youth and his age, right? Like there's some inexperience there.
Yeah.
But I feel like he's done such a great job. The other one I would probably say, I think Tad Cozen's going to be in the conversation. I think Cody Mapes is going to be in the conversation. I think Drew Kosher could be in that conversation. So I'm going to say right now, though, yes, I'll say buy it. Kyle Schneider is the top in my mind right now.
I'm going to sell it. Give me the stamp. Give me the stamp. Where's the stamp?
Objection.
Objection.
We're playing buy it or sell it, but we're also playing objection.
Anyways, whatever.
There you go.
Thank you.
I guess we're mixing genres
We're mixing it here, but whatever. My point is not that Kyle Schneider isn't doing a great job, because I think he is. We've talked about his work ethic. Obviously, the results are the results, but versus the whole field, I think it's too tough. The way that Cody Mapes has turned this Weyburn team back after the disappointment of losing in the finals. I think there's just a great feel.
There's a great,
Anyway.
But the other thing too is, I don't know how much this plays in on the voting side of things. Does it play in, Nugsy? And maybe just a quick one. just a head coach versus head coach and GM? Does that play anything into
I hope it doesn't, but it's a good point.
You know,
I
there's
hope it
always
doesn't.
maybe a little bit
It
there.
shouldn't.
It shouldn't.
Because we
that's
don't have an
technically-
executive of the year.
Yeah, it's technically not the vote. That's not what it is.
Yeah.
It's coach
Yeah,
of the year.
fair enough.
But you never know.
Fair enough. All right. Rookie of the year will come from the Bungie division.
Yes. Yeah, I saw you put that one in there earlier. And I think on top of, because there's a couple goalies who I think could be in the conversation. Preston Patnow's one of them. So it's not just skaters.
Preston Patnow's not a rookie.
But he's listed
Oh,
as
I
one
guess
on the
he is, yeah.
website.
He didn't play enough games last
I don't
year,
think he
right.
played.
You're
I think
right.
he still qualifies,
Yeah.
but also Rowan Burgess, right? There's two guys right from Weyburn,
Burgess.
Cash Olsen, Cash Lanigan, the couple
Yeah.
Cashes.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say the odds are very heavily favorited towards the Bungie division right now. So I'll say yes.
Yeah, I don't see how it doesn't.
The
come
only
from
guy
Bungie,
I could
so I'm
say,
buying it.
there's two guys I think it could maybe go outside of that division is if Keegan Lowe gets really hot and stays in the lineup more often. He's only played 10 games so far. So
Yeah.
if he can stay in the lineup and really keep producing, he's almost a point per game right now.
Yeah.
And if Hudson Breo and Flin Flon takes that next step and continues to play.
Those guys are important guys for their team, but I wouldn't say like they're the guys.
You're right. No. But I'm just saying, like, if they can keep producing, I think they might be able to get in that mix and
Yeah, but I think
conversation.
we're both buying it.
I'm buying it.
And then the last one, very quickly, because we got to get on here, but Bo Bichette will sign somewhere other than the Toronto Blue Jays. Buy it or sell it.
Sell it. Object. Object.
It's
I'm
not
objecting
SJ,
that
but
one.
whatever.
Yeah, just a big old objection.
Yeah, I'm objecting too. All right, let's move on.
Okay. It's not. It doesn't have. Just because Steve Simmons says so.
Yeah.
Sorry, Steve.
But what's
I'm
his
not
name?
buying it.
Nightingale.
Bob Nightingale.
says he is signing with the
Yeah,
Blue
he's
Jays.
a Major League
So
Baseball
until
reporter
Bo
as well.
says who he's signing with, who cares? All right, go
Well,
ahead.
let's go ahead and check out the Tourism Saskatchewan highlight of the week. If you were really paying attention, you probably saw it during the Melville-Weyburn game, but let's have a look at the massive save, which led to the eventual game-winning goal by Boston Harkness.
Go near side for Moldy, into the zone. Moldy with Sale. Sale! Oh, what a save by Effett, and Effett's hurt. He's hard. Down on the ice and a breakaway the other way. Walking in, Deeks, they score! Boston Harkness finishes it as the Millionaires wrap it up. 2-1 the final in overtime.
Well, Fuzza Fett with another 10 baller the other way, and that led to a breakaway chance for Boston Harkness, and he made no mistake.
Just a great play overall on both sides of the ice. We had to pick that one.
Well, that overtime, especially once Melville had killed the power play in overtime, that was electric stuff. Like, that was fun.
Yeah.
So.
And big shout out to Fuzz Affett because that was A, great save, B, he's got an amazing name, and C, I hope he didn't get too hurt on that play.
Well, he went and celebrated pretty hard
He
after.
did, okay, so I'm hoping he's fine, but it did look like he kind of got his knee bumped into on that when the guy slid into him, so hopefully he's good to go, and that wasn't just adrenaline taking him to the celebration.
Good point.
But it's time for Noogs and Notes. Let's hit it because we got to get to our guest after the break, so it's Noogs and Notes. There he is. He's rocking his Western All-Star Challenge shirt. The blue shirt.
That's cool.
I don't know if there was any blue shirts
It's
there.
tough, graphic people. All right. The Melfort month, we've got a couple of moves as usual.
Couple of moves.
A couple of moves. The Melfort, and it's technically a commitment move too, we'll
Yes.
say. Melfort Mustangs have traded Jake Demone, the defenseman, and a PDF to the Niverville Nighthawks for forward Luke McKenzie, a 6'1", 200-foot, that's right, 200-foot.
He is a 6'1", 200-foot forward.
I didn't get much sleep last night.
He's probably a good 200-foot player, in
6'1",
fairness.
Probably.
Probably a good 200-foot
I'm sure
player.
Trevor Blevins would not have acquired him otherwise.
No.
Canisius College D1 in Buffalo he is committed to.
Yeah.
So very cool, and I'm told he's still committed there, which is great. Great place there, Harbor Center, great sports bar 716 there as well in Buffalo. All right, Ty Matanovich has been moved to the Lloydminster Bobcats from the Weyburn Red Wings, the AJHL team coached, of course, by Eric Labrosse, who is going to be assisting Trevor Blevins with Canada West. Obviously, the story with Lloydminster, Matthew Condro, their superstar goalie, Central Scouting listed, went to the Red Deer Rebels. He's there now. Apparently, he's playing well. So Lloydminster needed a goalie. Weyburn felt like they had three good ones with Pat Node and Nate Stevens there from NAX. Nate Stevens, by the way, 16-1-1 last year for NAX in the CSSHL.
Really good numbers.
So, not too bad.
And I remember I was talking to goalie coach Daniel Wappel before the season, and he's like, this Stevens kid might be the next one.
Legit, eh?
Yeah.
07 goalie.
Yeah.
So there you go. Timatanovic's era in the SJHL is done after time with Humboldt, of course, as well. Part of that Daza Mitchell trade.
Yeah.
And yeah, so Cody just believes in those two. Both Patnode and Stevens have 916 plus save percentages, so fair enough. And the last one is Carter Cole, one of the 07 forwards on Kindersley. I mentioned their 07s. They had 7 07 forwards, 11 07s overall in the roster on a daily basis for the Kindersley Clippers. They trade one of them to Nipawin for a PDF. Carter Cole, half point per game forward, but Kindo has a lot of 07 forwards, so you got to fit them in and make them all happy. So there you go. And, Nipawin adding another piece. Up front, interestingly enough. And Ego, he had a great year, Cole did, in AAA as well. So, it's a guy he's pretty familiar with the area as well, PA Mintos. So, interesting fit there with Nipawin.
And it's Nipawin adding to a strength. Their forward group, I would say, is probably their strength. Their goalies are playing great, but their forward group is what we've talked about all year as their strength, making your strength stronger. Lean into it. And I don't think
for the
Nipawin's
future
done
too.
either.
And for the future too. Not that Nipawin's forwards are all 05s, because they're really not. Like a lot of them are 06s and even like you think about Witter and Jansen as 07s. But add to the even future as well as the present for Nipawin.
Absolutely. Just keep building. So there you go. Nugs and notes. Thank you, Nugsy. We're going to hit a break, and when we come back, I believe we have my boy. He likes when I say that. My boy Todd Minerson from Movember Canada is going to join us. So we'll talk to Todd after the break and get an update on Movember Canada as a whole. We'll get an update on our campaign as a league, and it'll be a lot of fun. So stay tuned until after the break.
The Price Beat Guarantee is back at Capital GMC in Regina. We will beat any price on any new vehicle from any competitor, or you get $500 cash guaranteed. The Price Beat Guarantee at Capital GMC in Regina.
At Vatterstad, we're partnering with North American farmers to create the perfect emergence. We're doing this with new and innovative tillage, planting, and seeding solutions, optimized for the field conditions that you face, and with industry-leading capacities to help you get the job done in short windows of time, so you can maximize yields. Vatterstad, we look forward to growing together.
Mister.
Every ticket you buy funds programs all across Saskatchewan, like sports. Buy your tickets today.
In the last decade, the construction industry has reduced injuries by 46%. That's as many injuries prevented that would fill several stadiums. Find out more at scsaonline.ca.
Feeling like your dreams are out of reach? RBC has programs and resources to help you open the door. With RBCX Music, RBC Training Ground, and RBC Scholarships, your idea of your highest potential happens here.
Original 16. Celebrate things done well.
All right, welcome back inside the ICAST Media Studios. Myself, Jamie Neugebauer here, joining the video chat now is Movember Canada Director Todd Minerson. Todd, we chatted last year. We had such a great time, so I'm super pumped that you're back with us again this year. And I know Kelly Lewick's not here today. He's kind of our ringleader when it comes to Movember. He's in Vancouver or something like that.
He's here in spirit.
He's here in spirit, but
That's a lame excuse.
Tell me about it. Anyways, he's got the big bushy mustache going already. Of course, he does it every year. I'm a little bit more subdued right now. Nugsy Hughesy got it going on a little bit. This is a little bit different right now. So I went clean shaven. I cheated last year and I started early, Todd. And I maybe should have thought about doing it again, but it's okay. It's all for a very, very good
never
cause.
prosper.
So Todd, I guess my first question to you is, it's Movember time. Obviously, we did a great job last year as a league, $21,000 towards the cause. Who, what, why, where, when is Movember? Can you give us the big kind of mission statement here?
Yeah, of course. I'm so happy to be chatting with you guys again, too. Such a blast last year, and the SJHL just really showed up big time for men's health, and it was an amazing year last year, and we're back at it again. This is 19 years now in Canada where Movember's been working those mustaches and having fun doing good for men's health. It's an incredible commitment from the entire country. We've got about 39,000 people signed up across Canada right now to participate in Movember this year. And, that ethic of having fun and doing good and bringing some awareness to a really, really important issue, which we learned a lot more about this year in some of the work we did, is not going away. And it's these kinds of conversations that keep it happening across the country. And it's just been such a blast doing work with you guys.
Yeah, Todd, we've had fun too. And, I know everybody out there, wants to be on board and agrees with, what it is that Movember is trying to do. But the question that I get a lot, and I'm sure you do too, is when people donate, where does that money go to, and how does it, very physically in a very practical way, make a difference?
Yeah, well, we couldn't do any of it without that money and support. And it's the money, but it's also the conversations too, right? So, Jamie, the money is transformational for men's health in Canada. Canadians have raised through Movember over $110 million for prostate cancer research in this country. It's the second largest amount of money donated to prostate cancer aside from the federal government of Canada. So that's huge. There's nobody else there filling that void for the 1 in 8 men in Canada who are going to be diagnosed with prostate cancer in their lifetime. And that's just one of the areas that we work, right? We're working in mental health and suicide prevention. We have the only national campaign around testicular cancer, which is super important for your audiences because it's the number one cancer for young men under the age of 35. And, we have a big campaign called Know Thy Nuts. I want to see if I can make Clark giggle with that one, but there's just a little one. But it's that kind of thing that we're the only ones out there doing this stuff on. And then not even to mention the work around mental health and suicide prevention, because, tragically, Jamie, we know 3 out of every 4 suicides in this country are committed by men. And it's an issue that we really, really need to start working with young guys early around their mental health. And one of the new initiatives, to give you a really concrete example, is just, in your neck of the woods, it's a partnership with the Western Hockey League, where we're bringing a program called Breaking the Ice, which is a mental health resiliency program, to every player in that league, all of their parents, and all the coaches. And it's to help build that toolbox for young guys who start experiencing mental health challenges or ups and downs, and really trying to give them the tools early on so that as those progress in their life, they're well equipped to deal with them. We don't end up with these tragic circumstances.
So Todd, I guess one thing that obviously in November every year, tomorrow is Remembrance Day. Obviously it's a time for reflection and remembering those who sacrificed a lot for us. For me this year, and even into last year a little bit, it also was a good time for me to reflect on some changes and some things that have gone on in my life in the last little while. And with Movember kind of being wrapped into where I'm going with this, it's a good time to also remember and reflect on, like you kind of mentioned, some people maybe that we've lost to some really tough circumstances. Do you have a personal story, Todd? Because I know getting involved with Movember must be more than just a job for you, or must be more than just a title for you. There must be some more to it. Do you have a personal story that you can reflect on, or maybe something that you can reflect on?
Yeah, 100%, Clark. I mean, Chief Mustache Farmer is pretty cool to put on LinkedIn, but it's not the main reason why I do this. There's a couple personal things just in my own life. I've got a 19-year-old son who's starting to put those good practices into place about taking care of his health. Making regular doctor appointments and following up on them, even when it's a pain in the you-know-what, and you got to wait around and all that. I got an 83-year-old dad who's more and more connected to the healthcare system for different things. But most closely to me, I lost my best friend last fall to kidney cancer. I'm going to use quotes, kidney cancer. That was what it said on the death certificate. But by the time he went to the hospital and started to get some help, he was gone 9 days later. And that's just a sign of how much work we have to do around making sure men know what preventative health is for them, making sure that their experiences with the healthcare system are positive. I know my buddy Neil had a lot of really negative interactions with the healthcare system before that time. And all of these things that we have, all these ideas and stereotypes that we have about being a man means that you got to be tough, or you got to walk it off, or all these kinds of things, they're not helpful for us. And they're for sure not helpful for the people who love us. So it is personal. And that's why I have this embarrassing, shifty, shady mustache only on the 10th. It's taken me a long time to get it in this year. Unlike our buddy Jake there, it's looking good.
Yeah, so I mean, to build on that then, I think the one thing that I've noticed, and I've been involved in and around Movember or supported people for about probably a decade now, I'd say, Todd, more or less. And I think the biggest thing that I've noticed, and I think you'll agree, is that over the last, let's say, decade, I think a big thing has been the awareness. The awareness factor has really jumped in. I think Linken, did you give them the same link? Speaking of Linken.
I didn't give anybody a link. I gave Linken a link, but I didn't give this guy a link.
Okay, interesting. I guess we must have given them the same link, because I think Linken just jumped in over top of Todd. Well, we'll get Todd logged back in. Linken, if you're listening, just log back out for a couple minutes. We'll get you in. Nugsy will send you a text. I'll send Todd a text. I think we sent the same link, which is really funny. I'll get Todd back in here. And as soon as he gets back in, guys, just bring him back.
Can I just say, though, too, obviously Movember is hugely important, and that's what we're talking about right now. But also, obviously, the Poppy and Remembrance Day element of today is something we don't want to gloss over either. My family's story is one that it's not just this sort of, and everybody who has this idea of being thankful to the armed forces and to the Canadian military that fought for our freedom, in World War I and World War II and Korea and wherever. But I mean, my grandfather was liberated from a concentration camp by Allied soldiers. So, honestly, without the sacrifices of those young men who chose to go across the pond, there's a great chance I would not be alive right now. So, honestly, it comes from a heartfelt place for me to be thankful to the armed forces of Canada, and to remember all those young men that did that. People who are, think about it, the same age as the players in our league.
I know.
I
thought about that a lot.
So it's wild.
I've thought about that a lot, and I think the guys in the back would agree that it's just such a wild thing to think about. Where we're in our 30s, our guys are in our 30s, Jordan's in his 20s, but Jordan just turned 30? No way. I knew it was your birthday
Jordan's
the other day.
Jordan's still 16. We know.
Anyways, we would be the ones jumping onto the beach. Todd, what we were saying right before Linken kicked you off, which is kind of funny. I was like, I know Todd just referenced looking at somebody's mustache, but Linken, get out of here. He doesn't have a mustache. He's like 17.
I'm like, who's that kid? That's not Jake.
But Todd, what we were saying before we lost you there was, I think one of the biggest things for me personally with the Movember movement over the last decade or so is that the conversation has really expanded, and it's really been something that a lot of men in my life and around me have really opened up more about. And I think that in itself is a very, very impactful, not just like Jamie said, the money, the practical dollars raised, but the conversation and opening up. And like you said, maybe that getting rid of that thing where we have to be so tough that we can't talk to each other, I think has been maybe a little bit even more impactful, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I would totally agree. And sorry about the technical difficulties.
No, it wasn't your fault. It wasn't your fault.
I was having heart palpitations going, what's going on? But anyways, you're right on, Clark. It's, the conversation is half the battle. And that's one of the great things about the mustache. It's kind of like an entryway into having that, and a way to not take yourself so seriously. But I would say we probably do 200 health talks around the country every year, businesses, schools, with teams in different leagues. And almost every time we finish one of those health talks, somebody is like keen and eager to share their story. And for me, that's such a amazing part of the Movember magic, but it's also a really important sign to me that I think men are ready and willing to have these kinds of conversations. They really want to. There's a real hunger for change and for being more proactive about our health and being able to talk about our mental health. For a lot of guys, just having that opportunity or a little bit of that courage to do it for the first time is makes all the difference. And there's been a lot of people who have been working hard to make sure that happens. And if the Movember community has helped in that way, in any way, shape, or form, it's something that we're really proud of.
Yeah, no, just the last one for me, Todd. Thank you again so much for this and so much for what you do. But I guess I wonder why, specifically Movember has decided to invest so much, in the SJHL, and how much of that is the relationship with Kelly, but also just everything that we're doing as a league.
Well, Jamie, it's so important. One of our philosophies is to kind of go where men and boys are, right? Mm-hmm. We know that waiting for them to come to us is not going to help us have those conversations or solve any of these problems. And so when folks like you have developed such an important community and such a connection in a way that we could never hope to replicate, there's just an amazing opportunity to collaborate and work together and partner on it. And, I thought we were coming on today to talk about the Humboldt PP2 or, like the...
well, we can.
The Ryder Knudsen is so underrated, okay?
We can if you want.
He's good.
But at the same time, that's kind of my point. As you guys know, I'm a jokester, but it's kind of the point. If you can talk about hockey and health at the same time, it's amazing. If you can talk about music, or if it's gaming or esports with young people at the same time as saying, hey, it's important to talk about your mental health, you're going to be miles down the road compared to putting a poster up in a bathroom or a locker room somewhere and making a young person try to have that conversation themselves. So you guys just do such an awesome job building that community out there that it's a no-brainer for us to invest the time and love with you on the work that you guys are doing.
Well, perfect. I appreciate that. And so one last one for me then, Todd, and we'll let you get going. What do you think about Humboldt's second power play? No.
It's working fine, clearly.
The last one I was going to mention was we talked a lot about the positives, the growth of this movement, the things that have been going well, the money that's been raised, the conversations that have been had. What are some challenges that we're still working with in today's day and age with this? What's the next steps for Movember in terms of maybe where this is going?
Yeah, that's a really great question, Clark. I mean, one of the things we learned this year is we released a report in June called The Real Face of Men's Health. And it was a real effort for us to try to say, hey, we're not just prostate cancer, testicular cancer, mental health, suicide prevention anymore. We're looking at all of men's health. And the findings from that were a little bit, challenging to take. 2 out of every 5 men dying prematurely. In 2023, that was 75,000 men in Canada that we lost before the age of 75. And not only was it the first kind of effort to really see the scope of where men's health is at in this country, but it was a wake-up call for us that we can't do this alone. It's not just going to be a one mustache at a time kind of solution for this, amazing as that is. So in the past 6 months, we've started talking to federal and provincial governments for the first time about a need for a national men's health strategy. We started to understand where different systems are breaking down for men and not working. So guys that are trying to get help before their mental health challenges escalate, but the help they're getting is not working for them. And really trying to figure out if there's bigger solutions that we can help mobilize, not just with the 35, 40,000 Canadians that are part of Movember every year, but with governments, with corporations, with healthcare systems, because that's the way that we're really going to help men live healthier, longer lives.
Perfect. Well, Todd, appreciate you so much, and we're going to do our best. What's the best way that people at this point can get involved on November 10th to get either involved the way we're doing in participating or donating, or what's the best way?
Yeah, it's never too late to sign up, even if you need to get a little head start or set a fitness goal for the month. Movember.com is your resource for everything. You can find the SJHL challenge in there, all the different teams. If you want to support your team, make a donation, that'd be amazing. If you want to learn a little bit more about men's health and start having those conversations, that would be amazing as well. So grow, move, host. talk about PP2s, do whatever you got to do. This is the chance to make a difference for men's health, and we're grateful for everybody's pitching in.
I'm sure there's like a prostate or testicular cancer joke that we could make with power plays, PP2s at some point, Todd. I'm just going to throw that in there because you made me laugh earlier, so I figured I'd make you laugh now going out. But thanks, Todd. Appreciate you, and we'll keep you updated with everything we're doing over here, and keep doing everything you're doing.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Appreciate you, and I'm loving watching the highlights as well.
Thanks, perfect. Todd. Thanks, Todd. There you go. So Todd Minerson with a little bit of an interjection from our next guest, Linken Fisher, in there as well. So after the break, we will take a break now. Battlefords North Stars defenseman Linken Fisher is going to be joining us, and we're going to chat with him about, they have a game tonight. This is rare on a Monday that we get to do a pregame chat with a player. So we'll chat with Linken after the break. Stay tuned.
Feeling left out of can't-miss moments? RBC has programs and resources to help you open the door. RBC clients get access to concerts, Avion rewards, and exclusive benefits. Your idea of memorable moments happens here.
Each year, the SCSA issues over 10,000 training certificates to the construction professionals who build our province. That is the same population as Weyburn. Learn more at scsaonline.ca.
Ticket you buy funds programs all across Saskatchewan, like arts and culture. Buy your tickets today.
Introducing SaskTel Student Saving Tips. Tip number 138. You could build your own pallet furniture.
So you're living on your own. You can save money by building furniture with pallets.
Or get Infinet 150 for only $50 a month with SaskTel student deals.
Original 16. Celebrate things done well.
All right, welcome back inside. It's SJHL Weekly. Clark with Jamie. Nugsy, we have a pretty cool special guest today, and we already saw him.
Yeah, it's a bonus Friday night spotlight or whatever. but I knew Link when we kind of had our little mix-up that if we were going to have a kid in the league on and have a little mix-up and it would be all right, that you'd be one of them. After we were laughing a little bit there on the bench in practice, I was like, yeah, okay, we'll be okay with fish. Because you, me, and Tice Penrod were having a little
Frankly,
laugh
it was my fault. I sent Todd the link. I didn't tell Jamie which link I sent him, so it's not your fault. Don't feel bad. Actually, appreciate you jumping in early because that was perfect. That would have been perfect. But anyways, Linken, appreciate you joining us today. Let's talk about last week's experience because obviously that was on everybody's mind last week, the Western All-Star Challenge. You got a spot on the team. It was a pretty cool experience for you, I would assume. Just tell us about what went through your mind that week. What was the experience like for you?
Yeah, it was really good. Everything was set up really well. My teammates were really good too. Like they made it easy for me to play with them. Very professional, and I had a blast. It was a fun week.
Yeah, how do you evaluate how it went for you personally?
It wasn't too bad. The first game I wasn't too great, I guess. I just had to get the legs underneath of me, I guess. It was fast and physical start. That Manitoba team was good, so playing with Pearson was nice too. I've played with him before, so was good. Yeah,
that's always fun. And that's the fun part about those kinds of events, is that you get to play with guys who maybe you don't play with now, but you have before, or you want to, or whatever. And I saw Fearson was trying to recruit a bunch of guys in the video.
Have you gotten a lot of messages about that, Link?
No, I haven't got any messages.
Oh, that's good.
For those of people who don't know, I did a little mic'd up with Fearson during the practice, and he was trying to recruit Linken to play for Warman, and he's like, I think I like Battleford. Battleford is good.
Commissioner Kyle is now investigating for tampering. No, I'm kidding.
Players can talk to each
I'm kidding.
other.
Lincoln, it's been an interesting season for Battleford so far. Now that we talk about the Stars, it seemed like for a while you guys didn't really play any games, and now you're kind of getting into it a little bit more as the season goes along. You got a game tonight. We'll talk about that next. But just talk to us about kind of how the Stars season has gone so far.
Yeah, it's been good. We had that break there at the start for a bit, so we're a little behind in games, but we're definitely making up for it right now. We've played quite a few games this last week, so it's been busy, but no, everything's been really good. Coaches have been good, players have been good. It's been good.
Yeah, for sure. And part of my what I'm curious about with this Battleford's just team in general, especially guys who've been around a couple of years now, is obviously a couple of years ago you guys had Braden, I think, when you were first an AP call up, and then a couple of years last year you had Marty, and then this year you have Connor Logan, and all those guys seem like wonderful, terrific guys and coaches, but it's tricky when there's different coaches so often. So how have you guys been able to stay consistent and competitive and keep things rolling, even though, the guy at the top and the vision's been changing so much?
Yeah. Definitely tough things like to the table, system-wise, but the guy kind of just brings us together a little better. Like, especially last year, I feel like when Marty came in, he didn't really change too much. He tried to keep the culture.
I think we're going to get Lincoln to hit refresh and try to get back in here. His connection just cut up a little bit. It is very interesting, Nugsy. Not many 18-year-old players can say that they've played for 3 different coaches already in their young SJHL careers. But it is interesting how the Battleford's North Stars have gone over the last few years. Just a little bit of not, I wouldn't even call it turmoil. It was just, changes, just differences.
Well, obviously, remember conversations we had, when we had Jordan Grill on, when we had Jackson Allen on, like their leadership core, over the last couple of years. And those guys just talked about, we're not going to use that as any kind of an excuse. We have principles as a core. We're going to stick with those principles. I think what Lincoln was saying was that in terms of systems, in terms of the way that they wanted to play, they kind of kept that relatively similar. And you know what? That is a fun, I'm sure it's a fun way to play there, Lincoln, the way that you guys play. And the way that, you had Marty and the way that the principles that Braden had, like that is a fun brand of hockey. It's fast, it's counterattacking, it's in your face, it's move the puck and go play offense. So you were talking there about, keeping principles the same. Do you think Connor Logan has kind of taken that same idea and continue moving it forward too?
Yeah, 100% he has. When he called me this summer, he said that the style of play we're going to be playing is going to fit my game really well. And he loves having the puck. He loves controlling the puck. And I think that fits my game, just having the puck and being able to control the play and not like dump and chase, more of, say, style of game.
For sure. And, obviously, on the topic of continuity, Lincoln, and, this junior hockey, whether guys, move on or get traded or whatever, like there's always going to be turnover. Like, that obviously you guys, from your back end, Michael Carter and obviously Jordan Grill going on, moving on from last year. But, obviously pretty significant to lose, guys like Rylan Williams and Colton Getzlaff and Logan Goodwin and Alex Sheck and whatever. But there's nothing you can do about that. So just talk about, trying to take that challenge in the right way of, okay, those guys are somewhere else now. We're gonna move forward, and how you guys have handled that part of it.
Yeah, the guys have been pretty good with that stuff. I guess it helps having good 20s. The older guys, kind of role models in the room, they help with that stuff, especially for us younger guys who haven't been really a part of anything with trades, like coming from AAA or any of that. So they kind of keep it good in the room. They keep it light, and the guys that come in have been really good too. So I don't know. I guess that helps a lot, just having those guys to be there and kind of guide us along.
So, Linken, you were one of the rare players in this league that were able to play as a 16-year-old. I know it was just as an AP, but you got a couple games under your belt. Last year, full-time as a 17-year-old, and then now this year, you're an old, wily 18-year-old vet. Obviously, the numbers have reflected that. You're near a point per game pace. You're having a great season. You already set a career goal, career high in goals, which is nice, 6. Well, let's get that number up. We'll make the career high a little higher, I'm sure. But that must be what's the progression like for that as a younger player coming in as a 16-year-old with a very good North Stars team that year? Like, that was an exciting team. Last year, 17, now 18. What's the progression like or been like for you?
Just doing the same thing every day, I guess. We're just working hard. I don't know, kind of letting the play come to me, I guess. Just not trying to do too much, no matter how old I am. Keeping it simple.
Good.
Stuff like that, I guess.
Yeah. And has it been, what was, I know coming in, you're not the largest guy, so as a 16-year-old, what was that like for you? And compared to now, like you said, you're kind of letting the game, stop it, Bryce. You're kind of letting the game come to you now, so obviously you've learned that aspect of it. But as a 16-year-old, what was it like as a 16-year-old coming into this league at that time?
It's pretty terrifying, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I don't know. There was Gorilla on that North Stars team, just practicing with him. He's so big, strong, and fast. It was hard to keep up, I'm not gonna lie. Like, it was terrifying. But obviously I've gotten a little more used to it, playing with these bigger, older guys for a couple of years now. So I think going into that 16-year-old year, it kind of helped me for last year and this year now especially. It was good though.
Yeah, it seems to be paying off, I think. I'd say it paid off.
Last one from me, Link, and then I got some rapid fire for you. But I want you to be very specific as you can be with me here, Link, because I know you got it in you. You're a smart kid. What are 1 or 2 main things that you've learned from playing with Gavin Granger? Because you know better than me, you're a good player, you play with good players, that's going to make you an even better player. And if I'm coaching, I just put my best players all together. That's how I would do it. But that seems what Connor Logan's doing too, to some degree. And you and Gavin play together, and you play a lot. So what have you learned from Gavin?
I've learned a lot. I've played with him since the top 40 game in tryouts last year. So I've never had another D partner in this league. So he keeps it light. He's really good at that. He doesn't overhandle, over pressure. He just, especially on me too, like when I'm having a tough game or something, he always is there for me. He's always trying to hype me up or keep me calm. What I've learned from him, I love how patient he is with the puck. I love that. He, in the neutral zone, the offensive zone, he's so good with the puck. He makes the right plays. He's very good controlling the puck and controlling the play and slowing things down out there. I've learned that for sure, and it helps a lot playing with him.
No doubt. And yeah, obviously having a wonderful year. All right, rapid fire. Fish, you got to answer these questions as quick as you can. Are you ready?
Yeah, I think I'm ready.
Okay. What is the most delicious fish?
Walleye.
Walleye. There you go. That's a good answer.
What is the best color of Swedish fish, the candy?
Red.
Okay, but there are other colors. You know that, right?
I thought there was only red. I don't know.
Red.
Yeah.
Let's go
red
red.
is the answer.
Yeah,
I agree too. All right. You roomed with, I believe you roomed with Kaysen Kabelka at the Western All-Star Challenge. Is that right?
I did. Yep.
Sum up rooming with Kaysen in one word.
Easy.
Oh, that's good.
That's good.
He made it easy.
That's good.
Even though he's a goalie. Yeah, good for him. There you go. What's one thing that Spiritwood, Saskatchewan is known for?
A lot of people like the golf course there.
That's good.
All right. Yeah. Who's the biggest clown in the Stars room?
Oh boy. Not counting me, probably Granger, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, Granger. There you go. And then the last one, which forward on the North Stars, it doesn't have to be this year, it can be, but any the time that you've been in the North Stars, who's the one guy that when he's coming down on your side of the ice in practice, you're like, not this guy again? Like, who's the guy that was the toughest to stop?
It's got to be Ivashenko.
That's what I said. And I said, it's obviously going to be Nikita.
You were going to say.
That guy was a cheat code, so.
Yeah. Okay,
No,
well.
it was
There you go. There's rapid fire. Last question for you, and then we'll let you go because you got a game tonight. I don't know if you need your afternoon nap yet. I don't know what your afternoon routine is like. Maybe you already had it. I'm not sure. But
I took it already.
You already took it. Okay, he's fresh. He's ready to go. The game tonight. Talk to us about the game tonight. Obviously, coming into this one, again, you're coming off of a weekend split with Yorkton. So what's the message kind of going around the game tonight against a very tough Kindersley team?
Having good starts is one for sure. I feel like we've kind of struggled in that aspect sometimes, and bringing the energy on the bench, talking a lot, being loud after a hit or a block. We've talked about that a lot too. Just those two things mostly, is just being ready and being loud.
Good. Well, I like that. Well, get loud tonight, Linken. Appreciate your time today. Thanks for joining us, and we'll chat with you again down the road, I'm sure.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you guys for having me.
There we go. Linken Fisher. There we go.
What a beauty.
Great kid. Great chat. Thank you, Linken. Nugsy, we got a couple things before the show is over to get through here. Where do you want to go first? You want to do players of the week? Did we have the rookie scoring leaders in the back, guys? Did we have that list? We do. Okay, so we have that too. Do you want to go over that? Like, where do you want to go first?
Let's rip the players of the week.
Players of the week. All right, let's do some players of the week here. It's time. There it is. Look at that beautiful thing. There it is. Because it is up now if you want to go look on SJHL.ca. It's up, and I believe on our Facebook and Instagram also it is up. But let's start with the SGEU MVP of the week. He's going to be playing Linken Fisher tonight. It's Avery Johnson of the Kindersley Clippers. He had a hat trick against Warman. Of course, they scored 15 goals, and he was involved in 6 of them. So very impressive weekend there by Avery Johnson. Maybe we'll talk about one of his teammates in a little bit here as well. Or go forward of the week. It's Lincoln's teammate, Josh Knidig, the forward of the week. He actually had more points than Avery, but you know it's a big week for everybody. Just one more game played, yeah. But he did have the game-winning goal against Yorkton in one of the games. So big week, I should say, there for Josh and the North Stars. The Super U Defenceman of the week. He had a game-winning goal. And Nugsy, not very often do we give a guy who just had the 1 point any of these awards usually. But Boston Harkness, his impact all over the ice, but also the overtime winner at Weyburn. It was a very impressive week there from Boston. The SaskTel goalie of the week, we're going back to Kindersley. It's Brett O'Halloran. He made 70 saves, even though they outscored them 15 to 6 or 15 to 7. He still made 70 saves. A big week there for Brett O'Halloran. And the Kindersley Clippers, 961 save percentage, 177 goals against. So there's shout out to Brett. He's a member of my fantasy team. The Sask Milk Rookie of the Week. His name is Alejandro Montoya. He is the Rookie of the Week. He made 62 saves. Prepared to not score.
Nice.
Anyways, me and Nugsy have been laughing about that joke for like 2 hours.
The Princess Bride movie.
My name is Alejandro Montoya. The Cantera Seeds. Thank you, Bryce. The Cantera Seeds Saskatchewan Player of the Week, Mason Karkachuk. Again, normally, Nugsy, we don't often lean towards guys who only had 1 game. We usually try to make it 2 games, 3 games, obviously, or more. But he had such an impressive game, and it was a wild one.
Yeah.
So a 4-point night for Mason Karkachuk. So we got him the Cantera Seeds Saskatchewan Player of the Week. So there you go. There's your Players of the Week. Let's have a look now, Nugsy. Let's break down some of the rookie leaders because we meant to do this earlier in the show. I forgot to bring it up, so it's my fault. But let's bring it up now because there has been some movement and some guys popping off that we really are impressed with. And we talked about in our buy it or sell it category, the Rookie of the Year coming from the Bungie division, and this is probably the reason why the top 3 scorers are all from the Bungie division.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been buy it or sell it. A guy named Cash is the Rookie of the Year. Well,
that might have been a better category.
Well, but anyways, I mean, Cash Lanigan was, you know, I interviewed Tommy Reese at the Western All-Star Challenge, and you know, when I asked him about being here, he's like, but, you know, I think Cash Lanigan probably should have been here too. And there's an argument there. Obviously, you know, that other people pick all that, and that's behind us. But Cash Lanigan has been red hot since not being named. A couple of names, interestingly, there too from Battlefords. Caleb Dewar, Drew Williamson, Finley Klippenstein, guys who've really come up lately. And obviously, I didn't mention it in Nugs and Notes, but Battlefords moving on from Braden Nienauber as well to Whitecourt in the AJHL means there's more opportunity for these younger guys who have been producing.
They've all been
for
good.
Battlefords. I know I talked about the Campbell line, but you gotta shut that down. There's some dynamic young players, on Battlefords below them, and Dewar and Williamson and Klippenstein are part of that. Remember talking about Dewar at the draft a couple of years ago too. So cool to see that turnaround. And one guy I expect to have a massive rest of the season is Hudson Brejo. He was so good at the Western All-Star Challenge for Flin Flon, for Team SJHL from Flin Flon. And I think he's going to keep on flying too. And of course, Ethan Dundas, such a useful all-around player as well, and a guy that I really believe, has a good chance of being a Western Hockey Leaguer next year after the Calgary Hitmen. So. Interesting group right there.
Yeah, definitely an interesting group. And Nugsy, this is really funny timing.
Is it?
We just got, kind of. We just got an email. Where is it? We just got an email on our shared email account from Kyle Graham. He says, I saw the SJHL post the Sask Milk rookie scoring leaders on Facebook and noticed that Evan Cook and Waylon Gardapi were left off the list. They both have 11 points each. Just checking if they don't meet the criteria. Well, guess why they're not on the list?
Yeah, it's not our fault.
It's not our fault.
Nope.
And I know exactly how to answer this question. L'Orange doesn't list rookies on their team on the website.
Yeah, so go to the Hockey Tech website, or I'll do it for you if you want me to. Go on and make sure you clicked rookie.
Yeah.
I actually think I talked to another team about this. Their players weren't on the rookies, so it's not our fault.
Yes.
It's your fault for not listing them as rookies.
So we know the answer. The answer is clear. They're just not on the website listed as rookies, so they don't show up when we look at rookie scoring leaders on the website. So there you go. That's all it is.
Yep.
They should be, and they're very good players. We were just talking about Evan Cook having a great year, and Waylon Gardapi having great years for L'Orange. So we'd love to get them on the list.
Yep.
Let's get them on there.
Except for Oishi, who was listed as a rookie by Weyburn when he was on Weyburn.
Right.
Who is now on L'Orange.
See, he's on there, but he was listed by another team.
So if you
there
need
you go.
help with your back end of the website, let me know, or Curtis Shep know, and we'd be happy to help you.
There you go. We'll probably send an email about that after the show today as well. Let's have a look at the upcoming schedule, because there's a game tonight and there's a game tomorrow. So let's have a look at Monday and Tuesday's schedule. Obviously tonight, we talked about it. The Battlefords North Stars are hosting the Kindersley Clippers. That's a big one. That's going to be a great game. We're going to be tuning into that for sure. And then tomorrow night, Remembrance Day, the only game is Melville against Estevan. And we're going to be at that game, so it's going to be a fun one. We are going to enjoy that one for sure. And I'm sure Melville has something planned for Remembrance Day, so it'll be a nice thing. But as I mentioned, earlier, Remembrance Day is a very important time in this country, obviously, and we encourage, as the SJHL, we encourage everybody watching to, like Nugsy mentioned, his personal story, reflect on maybe something that matters to you, and be thankful for something that really, changed the way that you live your life, or, as Nugsy mentioned, is alive at all. Because of certain sacrifices made by people in the past. But also it's a time to support and talk and support your local Remembrance Day ceremonies, your local legions, because I know that all the communities in our league all have legions in their community. So get out there, support them. There's always something going on. So support somebody, talk to somebody, reach out, and reflect. I think it's an important day for everybody. So tomorrow, Remembrance Day, one game. So it'll be an interesting night there in Melville, I'm sure. Nugsy, final word to you for the show before we thank our sponsors and let everybody go for the day.
Yeah, as you just said, and also learn the history. Any kind of hatred or prejudice or racism or any of these things, so much of it is because of a lack of education, lack of understanding of what happened before. So, read about the World War II and why it happened, and the reasons, World War I, etc. And let's learn as a society and get better, as men, talking about our health and end that stigma, and also understanding, what causes things like Nazism and anti-Semitism and all that prejudice that we have to get rid of as a species, or we're gonna suffer the consequences. So
very well said. Very well said. Thank you, Nugsy. Let's thank our sponsors here, guys, in the back, as we thank Cantera Seeds, Canalta Hotels, Capital Auto Mall, SGEU, SAS Lotteries, UPL, Chevrolet, Great Western, SaskTel, RBC, Saskatchewan Construction Safety Association in Batterstad. I want to thank Bryce, Jordan, and Connor in the back for jumping in today. Thanks to Joshes upstairs. We got two Joshes. They jumped in because Kelly's not here, so thank you for them for hopping in and helping us with our graphics and everything today. Thank you, Jamie. Obviously, thank you, Linken Fisher. Thank you to Todd Minerson. And thanks to you guys for tuning in and watching as you always do. Appreciate you. We'll be back on Thursday for SJHL Insider, and it's going to be a great week of hockey. So enjoy it, everybody. And again, have a good Remembrance Day. And get out there and do something this year, maybe that you haven't done in a while. Go check something out, support somebody or talk to somebody, reach out. And it's a good time of year. So Movember campaign, everything going on. There's so much. So make sure you support it all, and we'll chat with you on Thursday. Bye for now.